Okay, I think there's a few people just coming in, but we'll get started because we have a fairly full agenda. Welcome. This is the first e-learning community event for this academic session, so it's good to see you all here. And today's session, could it be anything else, we're talking about Moodle, and we'll give you an overview of the project, what we've done and where we've got to, and give you a chance at the end to ask whatever questions you have. So the agenda for today is, as you see, that new features as of September 2012. We've done a whole lot of new integrations within Moodle this year, some of which you may be aware of, some of which you won't. So it'll be a useful opportunity just to take stock and make you aware of everything that's new in Moodle that you can start to use. Then we have some views from some of your colleagues talking about how they've been using it and how they have benefited or hopefully benefited from use of Moodle. And then we'll talk about an update around some of the performance issues that you're probably aware of, how the start of term went. When we talk about Quella, that's our international architecture. We'll have a quick demonstration around how that works. And then finally look at the look and feel of the new system, which we've been working with marketing and comms to develop and roll out. And then finally some questions and answers to you. So we have a fairly full agenda, and we've got a lot to get through. And so if you don't mind, we'll crack on, and I'll hand over to Nigel Owen, who's the delivery group leader, who will take you through all of the new features as of September. Okay, Nigel.
Just make sure I'm properly mic'd. Thank you, Andy. Hopefully most people here should recognise my face. If you don't, I'm Nigel Owen, Delivery Group Leader. I look after one of the teams that helped with the Moodle rollout, and more specifically my direct focus on the Moodle project was kind of being very close to all the new developments and integration and looking after the team of developers that we had over on Kingsmeadow campus. So what I'm going to do is take you through not all of it, but pretty much most of the functionality that was developed in-house. We've actually developed 31 bits of functionality. This is all in addition to the stuff that comes out of the box with Moodle. And they broadly break down into blocks. So if you're familiar with blocks, they're the things down the right-hand side of Moodle that you can add to your module homepage. Course formats. So this is kind of altering the way that your course is presenting on the page. Activities and resources. So if you remember, they're the two fundamental things that you can add to a module. We've also developed some admin tools. I'm not going to go into this presentation because they're not really of interest, but just say we're kind of hooking up with Saturn, and we've got a lot of housekeeping and kind of maintenance features running on the back end that kind of keep things ticking over. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the filters we've added to it. You may not be familiar with filters and kind of show you what they do. And then there's a couple of other ones that don't really fit into any of those categories, so I'll talk about those. Okay. I did say that number is increasing. We have ones that are on our roadmap, and also I don't know whether people are familiar with something called MEAD, which stands for Moodle Extenders and Developers. So there is actually opportunity for people to get involved and shape the future direction of Moodle, kind of suggest things that they want to see in there. Now these may be things that exist already in the community, such as the Moodle's database it's got of all the existing plugins, but these may be things that don't exist at the moment. So the important thing that you're going to see that I'm going to show you of these plugins is none of these actually, most of these didn't exist in the user community. We developed them specifically for Nottingham based around our needs, and we will continue to do that. So if you have any ideas, then come and see me at the end and I can tell you more about the MEAD programme of work that we've got going on at the moment. Okay, so moving on to them. The first one, hopefully you've all seen this, is the University Resources, which is a block. It provides localised library searching of the catalogue for the campus. So if you're in a UK module, it opens up in the UK, China and Malaysia respectively. It also has links to all the library locations and the various resources on the Teaching and Learning website about studying effectively. It's got a link down here at the bottom to the Turnitin UK tool. This is the tool that students can have a go at submitting their assessment before they complete any formal assignment submissions through to you and kind of see how it goes against the various plagiarism matching sources that are built into the Turnitin test tool. We've deployed this system-wide in all modules. It's in the top right-hand corner, so it's there as kind of the university resources for all the students to use. The next one is the module resources block. So it's a block on the right-hand side. If you've not added it to your module, you'll find it there to add it. It's got a link to a localized reading list and a link to a localized catalogue of modules specific for the module that it's added to. So it knows where it's been added to a module, it knows what that module code is, and it will link you out to the University Reading List page for your module or the catalogue of modules, which usually contains your module specification, your assessment strategy, or that kind of information. Showing you it is actually customizable. So down here at the bottom in the block settings, for example, if you don't use the University Reading List software, you can customize it and uncheck that box, and the reading list there won't appear in it. Okay, module navigation. People may be aware that you can actually, on the kind of standard Moodle course, Moodle module view, you can switch it so that you can just see one particular topic at a time using that square box there. And then with the drop-down box at the bottom there, students can jump around and just see one particular topic area at once. What we've done is we've built a module navigation block down here on the right-hand side, which actually shows you all of the names of the topic areas that exist in that module. So you can have a nice short view of just that particular content area, and the student can click on any one of these links here and jump to the relevant topic, obviously that they've clicked on, and just kind of keep the view nice and short and tidy. So hopefully that one's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Another one we've developed, topic navigation. This is for providing linear navigation through the particular resources within a topic. If you've used the WebCT Learning module, you'll be very it was trying to emulate that, so you'll be very familiar with what it's about. But basically, in the top right-hand corner there, what we've got is a topic area, and so this is our first document in there, our second, third, a label, and then a couple more. And then when the student clicks on the first document, what they get on the right-hand side there is a listing of all the documents, links to all the documents that are in that particular topic area. And there's a previous and next button there at the top, and what it allows them to do is just to hit next, and it will step through sequentially each of the documents within that particular topic area, and of course they can go backwards, forwards, of course, so it means the student doesn't have to keep going back to the course homepage, click the link, and then go back to the document again. Once you're kind of in a chapter, I'm using the word chapter deliberately, you can step through them. So it's very similar to kind of a book. People may have used the book plugin within Moodle, but it kind of does it with the order of the materials in there. And of course you can reorder things. This example that I've got has only got Word documents or things in there, but you could put an assessment in there or a forum activity or anything you wanted to, and it would kind of step you sequentially through those. So that's called topic navigation. This is the first one that's vendor developed. This is the Echo 360 block. Ooh. You can add it and it'll just sit there on the right hand side there again because it's a block, and what this will do is if you click that, it will load up in the central area the Echo kind of home for your particular module. So if you're in one of the lecture capture lecture rooms and you're using the lecture capture technology and you're talking to us about that, then what you can do is when a student as soon as you finish recording them and it's been processed, they'll automatically be linked to your module. The students will click the Echo 360 link there and they'll see the various lectures that you've recorded, so you no longer have to link them manually through into the Echo 360 system. Okay, I think this is the last block. The Open Educational Resources block, I think people may be familiar with what Open Educational Resources are. It embeds a search box within your course, so that will enable you or your students to go off and search for OER materials. It's powered by the Expert tool, which is again a University of Nottingham developed OER search engine, not just University of Nottingham open content, but open content from the entire world that the Expert tool's kind of got into its database. So it'll enable you to find things like reusable teaching materials, images and videos. So you can switch it on, go off and do the searching, put them into your Moodle course and then turn it off, or if you want to write an assessment around or a student activity around finding reusable teaching materials and critiquing them, then you can leave it on and students can use it, no problem at all. Okay, so that's all the blocks. Moving on to the course formats. Everybody hear me okay? I'm going at the right pace? Yeah, okay, lots of money. Right. Course formats. So these are the things that when you go into edit settings and you've got the kind of course format, and there's topics, collapsed topics, weekly. One of the ones we've got there is now course format, and this works on a feed from Syllabus Plus, which is the university's timetabling system. So all of the teaching events that are in the university's timetabling system actually get their own topic. So this is a topic here that's related to this particular teaching event, which happens to be a lecture recurring on Monday. That's just gone at 2 o'clock. And it'll give you a topic for that, and then what the academic can do is attach the particular resources that are relevant to that teaching event to that slot in the university timetable. And if that timetable event changes, then it's got the link to it and it'll reformat it and move it all around in the course timetable. You can see when the student goes into it and loads it, you've got the various weeks which are appearing down the top, and it will automatically open on the current week's teaching events and give access to all the teaching resources that are associated with the current week's teaching events. Is that okay? Are people with me on that? Brill. A couple of nods. Collapsed topic is another course format. Really the point of this one is to reduce the long list of the kind of all the course materials in one page, the scroll of death, I think we've heard people call it that, where basically when you go into it for the first time, each kind of topic area is collapsed. So each of these little grey boxes is collapsed up, and what you can do is you can toggle one open and closed. So we can see that's the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and in this case the fifth one is open. There's all the content within the fifth particular topic area that happens to be labelled assessment, and using, you can't see this very well, but using kind of on the end there is a little arrow, and you can toggle each topic area open or closed. Okay, so that's another way to tidy up the kind of look and feel of the Moodle module homepage. Okay, moving on to some activities. Absence form. This is one where we cloned some functionality from the NLE, which was the tool used by the medical school. And what it is, it provides a mechanism for students to report non-attendance and kind of collates these in one place. So I've just created a completely empty one for a standard module. And what it does, it provides the student with a box where they can put the session that they missed and the reason why they missed it, however unlikely it is. And then they'll hit submit, and then you can go in as the editing teacher and you'll see a kind of listing of all the excuses or valid reasons or what have you for the teaching events that students missed. Okay. Obviously of real value if you have mandatory attendance at any of your teaching sessions. If you happen to be using the university timetable course format, what this will do is it will recognise the teaching events that have been brought in, and it will automatically hook up to the teaching events. So where on the previous slide you saw the various lectures, instead of it saying session here across the top, that will be a drop-down list with the various lectures that exist in the timetable calendar, and the students can select from the drop-down list which actually specific lecture that they missed instead of having to just type it in, and it will log the reason against that specific teaching event. Okay. Another activity, the allocation form. This one's is fairly powerful, and it's kind of a little bit complicated to explain it through, so I've broken it down over a couple of slides. But basically it's a mechanism for students to indicate preferred choices. Now on the picture on here, I've actually set up an example whereby there are 6 modules of which the student must choose 4 and rank those in a preference order. There is maximum capacity within each slot, so we can, you know, 75 on each module, and then the student will then be allocated 2 of those optional modules. And it allocates this at a later stage. So you may be familiar with some people who have done optional modules, and maybe they've done them on a first come, first served basis, where the first 75 people to sign up to that module get in. This does it on a much fairer basis. The results are best fit because there's some mathematics built into this behind it, which I'll explain in just a moment, and it actually kind of allows a window of opportunity for all the students to go in and indicate which modules they're interested in, their preference, and then we'll run it at a later date. And there are actually options here to include a do not want, so you can see that. So let me just kind of step you through that in a bit more detail. Oh, hang on. It's cloned from something in the medical school. In the medical school they used it for placement allocations, but it can be used for optional modules, which is where we see its strength. So let me talk you through that. You need to kind of set up options that students can pick from. So on the left-hand side there, I've got 6 optional modules. That's the bank that they can choose. That's unlimited. You can have as many choices for a student to pick from as you want. You will then need to kind of then define a number up to 9 of what is the maximum number of choices that that student can make from the first column. So in this case, I've got 4. So the student will indicate that's my first choice, second choice, third choice, fourth choice, and I really don't want project management principles. And they do that on that form that you've seen. Okay. You then have to define the number of allocations that you want to give that user. So of the 6, of which they've chosen 4 and I do not want, we're going to give them 2. And then the allocation runs and finds the best fit. So that's kind of the workflow through the process. What actually happens here is it will randomly give students options. And if a student gets their first choice, it will weight that quite a high number. And if a student gets their low choice, it will weight that quite a low number. And it works out all the math behind it, adds it up, and it comes up with a total for that fit for the entire module cohort. And then it does it again. And if it's got a higher number, it remembers that one. I think it does it a few thousand times, 60-odd thousand times, something like that, I was told. So what you actually end up with is the absolute possible best fit for students on that module. So hopefully everybody's going to get their first choice, or if there's not enough to go around, then they'll hopefully get their second choice. So that's kind of how that thing works. I know some people have used the tutorial booking tool for module choices, which I'll go on to a bit, and we'll hear more in a later presentation about the kind of issues with the tutorial booking. But certainly for optional module choices, this is the allocation form is a lot smarter way of doing it. Okay, Turnitin assignment activity. I think most people should know what this one is. This is another vendor developed one. Supports the submission of written assessment. It provides a matching report which can aid plagiarism detection. And it also provides on-screen marking tools using grade mark technology, which I know some people use them and think they're pretty fantastic and real-time saving. So if anybody's interested in Turnitin, and particularly the grade mark tools, then come and have a chat with me and we can show you that. Okay, tutorial booking. This is another activity. Basically what this does, it recreates a piece of paper on a notice board or a kind of office door or something like that, and you have, as you would do normally on a sheet of paper, multiple sessions of each tutorial. So I'm going to do this on Tuesday morning, I'm going to do this on Monday morning, and I've also got something else in there which I was just testing to play with this. You can define a number of spaces for each session, so based on the maximum people you can have. Students come along and they hit sign me up for this slot, and when the maximum number of spaces on that is taken, then it will let no more join it, and you can export a session register for that. So if you're marking attendance at tutorial sessions, and you can go in with a paper register of everybody who signed up for that particular tutorial session. And this was something that we cloned from Nexus from the business school, and I think this was the system that was used in probably about 15 or 20 different schools throughout the university, just specifically using Nexus. That's now available in the Moodle system. Okay, another activity, voting tool, supports 3 different types of voting and polling. Poll, where the user chooses one of the options and sees the result straight away. Vote, chooses one of the options and then will see the results when the voting is closed. Or alternative votes, where they put the options in a preference order. If there's no overall majority, the option with the number of lowest votes is thrown away, and those votes are then recounted into the remaining options, and that keeps happening until there is an overall majority of the option. Okay. A couple of filters now. JMOL, which is a molecular renderer. So you upload a JMOL file, PDB I think it is, you upload it into Moodle, and it will display it within the module page. So have we got anybody here who wants to have a guess what that is? No? Anybody from medicine or bio? Protein. I think it's insulin. It's insulin. It's insulin. So, okay. So that's there. So you can embed that within your Moodle course page. I never know how to pronounce this. I think it's called Latex is the correct pronunciation, isn't it? Latex, which is a form of mathematical notation. You can enter in a Latex expression. So there at the top, I've got something that isn't very human readable, but to any mathematicians, when it's rendered into Moodle, it comes out and looks like that. So that's far more sensible. So you can just type in Latex into labels, pages, any kind of the input boxes in Moodle, and the filters will then render that out. And again, that's a community developed one that we've put in. Okay, final two. Module list enhancement. So when you log into Moodle and you see, sorry, it's not very pictured down here at the bottom, your kind of module list, very few people realise that you can actually customise that list and kind of play with the way that it prints your modules to screen. So the default is it'll just show you 21 and they'll be listed as the order that they are in the Moodle system. But if you hit the customise this page button, sorry, I've taken the screenshot at the wrong time, and then hit the edit icon right over there, you get taken to this page, and what you can do is you can order your modules either via the alphabetical name, the short course name, the start date if they've got one set, or the category that's in there. You can also limit the amount of modules that are displayed on one page at one time. So that's just a kind of how to tidy up your Moodle my module list. And then the last one really is the timetable to Moodle calendar sync. You'll heard me talk earlier on about the timetable course format. So we're importing the teaching events from Syllabus Plus into Moodle, and what we're actually doing is we're turning these into calendar event. Now, the new version of this is going live tomorrow, and what you'll notice that when you're in edit mode, you get a little thing on the left-hand side that says Moodle calendar synchronization with Syllabus Plus. Turn on if you want to subscribe to it, or turn off if you want to cease your subscription to it. So by default, it will be turned off. You can press the button to turn it on, and then what you get when you turn it on, it will update the upcoming events block with all of the teaching events that are happening. It'll also update the calendar as well. So this is the kind of Moodle calendar system, and all these little red blocks here correspond to module events, and I'm here on the 7th with no teaching events for that specific module today, and my next one's on Friday, and there's the information about my 2 lectures that are taken from the Syllabus Plus timetabling system. Okay, that's me done. Do you want me to take questions now? Or okay, I'm happy to